Well, the weekend has begun, and as you know, there's a lot of pro wrestling happening. So we're going to try to minimize as much as possible, because as we speak, I could not do all of it as much as possible, like I would have. But that's going to be for the next episode. For today, we're going to focus on Stardom in their much recent show in Yamato Arena, still in Osaka. Now, nothing too specifics about that, but there were some interesting, good matches that took place. And then, of course, we move on with the Fantastica Mania that is presented by New Japan, having wrestlers coming from CML, and we do have at least about 3 championships taking place as well. And then, of course, we move on with AEW's Collision. We have a #1 contendership for the ROH World title, so that's going to be a very interesting match. And of course, other matches such as, of course, Orange Cassidy teaming up with Kyle O'Reilly to take on Bennett and Taven of the Undisputed Kingdom, and plenty other things as well. And we're going to cap up our episode with some news updates. Instead of having, of course, upcoming events, we're just going to focus on certain developments that are happening in the world of pro wrestling as we speak. So, let's get ready for another episode of the Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Hey everyone, welcome to the Deleted Wrestle Zone, all things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, TNA, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J-Rod here. So, if you are new to the channel, welcome. This is a channel where we do a lot of pro wrestling reviews from various promotions, not only here in the United States, but also in Japan, Mexico, Canada, Europe, the UK, anywhere in the world where pro wrestling is not as big, but it continues to grow. We also do discussion videos, talk about various topics such as the wrestlers themselves, the promotions, factions, storylines, whatever we want to talk about. We also, of course, do more news updates. If certain information I'm unable to put it on this episode, I can either put it on a separate video or on the next episode as well. We also, of course, do real-timing news updates to keep you guys on alert if something has happened in the world of pro wrestling that needs to be addressed ASAP. We also do the Unagi Sayaka Watch and various other cool things as well. So if you like what you see, please subscribe to us. So click on that subscribe button. You'll be getting a lot of daily reviews and other cool wrestling content as well. However, if you like this episode, please give us a like on the like button or leave us a nice comment in the description down below. Now, all introductions have set aside. As the good old words from Mr. Scotty from Enterprise, I'm going to give it all she's got, Captain. So, let's begin with our very first review, and this is from Stardom. Okay, Stardom. This one is, of course, in the Yamato Arena in Osaka, Japan. This is their day 2 out of 4 shows that they're going to do throughout this entire weekend. Now, our first match, we have, of course, a very interesting tag team match. We have Rana Yagami. She teams up with Saya Kamitani to face off the members of God's Eye, more specifically Saki Kashima and Shuri. Now, of course, Kashima, as you know, she has one thing in her mind, is the one thing that Kamitani has in her possession, and that is, of course, the high-speed belt. As you know, she has been high-speed champion at least twice, so I wouldn't be surprised if she has her eye on it. But however, as you know, Kamitani and Rana Yagami are both competing in Pro Wrestling Wave for the Catch the Wave tournament. I will be speaking a little bit about that towards the end in our news updates on this one. But yes, so that's the practically thing that's gonna happen. But the match was pretty okay. But in fact, it was Shuri who put Yagami in a submission, ending it right there. And of course, Shuri gave a little promo telling Kamitani and Yagami to do well and catch the wave, and hopefully they come back stronger. So that's pretty sweet right there from her. Our next match, we have Aya Sakura versus Hana. Now, this is not the first time these two have tangled with each other. They have come across each other in the last New Blood event. If you guys remember, Sakura teamed up with Kurata to face, of course, Hana and Ida for the New Blood tag belts. However, you would have thought in some capacity that maybe Sakura would definitely try to pick up a win against her, but unfortunately, it was Hanan with the Hanan special and ended right there. However, of course, during the post match, Sakura kind of said something about Hana that she shouldn't be the New Blood Tag Champion since she felt like she's already surpassed what she's supposed to be doing. But we'll see how things roll up. Our next match we have, of course, is a three-way match. We have Rian versus Sayaka Kurara versus Waka Tsukiyama. So, of course, this is a very interesting match to take place. Now, we know last time Kurata had some words to say to Waka about the New Blood tag belts. Kurara felt that they will get another opportunity, but Waka felt like no, it's our turn. But however, it seems like there's like a bitter war between them, between Kurara and Waka. But in fact, seems like in this match, Kurara had this match won in dead in her pocket, but Waka took advantage of it and of course applied a suplex onto Rian and picked up the win. So we'll see how things will progress here on out. Our next match, we have Momo Kogo taking on Mina Shirakawa. Of course, Mina, as we always known her to be, she's very methodical when it comes to targeting her opponent's knees. That's always been her strong suits. Target the knees. We've seen that with many opponents, and she did that with Momo. And of course, she was going to apply the figure four leg lock, and it kind of did. And of course, Momo told her that she wants to be a strong wrestler like her. She tells her she needs to adapt her new craft because right now Momo is kind of concerned that she's afraid that she may not participate in this year's 5-star Grand Prix. So we will see how things will go from here on out between them. Now our next match, we had a very interesting combination. Lady C, as you know, she is still currently unaffiliated with any unit. She teams up with Konami, one half of the tag champions, facing off against EXV, 2/3 of the artist belts, and of course Micah being the red belt champion. It's very interesting to see both Micah and Lady C come across each other again. In the past, Micah used to criticize her, saying that that Lady C has never picked up a good win. I mean, she has picked up wins here and there, but the biggest win she hasn't fully picked up. I mean, if you look at Waka, she picked up the biggest win of them all when she defeated Nana Takahashi. So Lady C is in that predicament as well. But it's still unclear whether she's going to side with God's Eye. She has been teaming with them constantly. I'm sure that God's Eye will like her to be around, but she does not trust Kashima. But however, of course, in this match, it was Xena with the Thunderstruck onto Lady C that allowed her to pick up the win. Now, as you know, we just saw the formation of a brand new faction led by Starlight Kid and Zuzu and May. Of course, Zuzu, who is still out of action, won't be back until the start of the 5-star Grand Prix. We have Amasaki, Mei Sita, Azumi, and Starlight Kid teaming up for the first time, where they're going to face the Cosmic Angels, consisting of Yuna Mizumori, Natsupoi, and Sayuri and Tam Nakano. Now, of course, we saw the moment between Tam and Starlight Kid, where, of course, they did a little cuteness thing. So that's something we definitely would see. But however, I have to say that this was a fine moment, of course, to see Amasaki and Azumi try to now pick up strength in their own lives after losing to Oedo Tai and being expelled from Queen's Quest. But it was Amasaki who picked up the win when she applied the Tenzai onto Mizumori, and just like that, it was completely over. So yeah. Now, our main event, we have Oedo Tai consisting of Fukigen Death, Momo Watanabe, and Natsuko, Raka as well, and Natsuko Tora. They take on star members Saya Ida, Koguma, Azuki, and Mayu Iwatani. And I have to say, this is one of the most strongest teams I have seen. You would have assumed that in this particular match, Odatai would do the dirty tricks. Well, they tried to be stronger. As you know, we know that Natsuko Tora has other things in mind, like the red belt. Momo, who will be teaming with Tekla to take on the Goddesses champions. So we'll see where that leads us. But however, in the end, it was Saya Ida that got the prevailed justice against Raka when she applied a lariat. Now, don't forget, Raka used to be a member of Stars until she betrayed them to Oda Tai. So Ida got her payback as well. So that was pretty fun. And of course, a promo was posted out in the post match, and then of course, Stars closed out the show. And that's how it ended things, folks. So I think that's pretty much it with Stardom. Let's move on with our next review, and that is Fantastica Mania USA. Okay, New Japan Pro Wrestling presents CML Fantastica Mania USA. This took place in San Jose as we speak. Well, it's already that day. Of course, as you know, we know there were certain changes that took place on a particular match. We'll get to that in a bit. Our first match is the Copa Fantastica four-way match. We have coming from Rev Pro Viento. Then we have Il Kukui, H Quest, and DKC. So basically, I have seen Viento before in Agent Quest in Kukui, but four-way matches are very complicated because you may never know how this match is going to end. I think that's the key part, how this is going to be. Of course, there's going to be a lot of, try to stop the match, or try to stop the opponent from picking up the win. But in the end, it was DKC who picked up the win with an amazing lariat leg drop onto Adrian Quest. Was it Quest? Yeah, Adrian Quest, allowing himself to pick up a very fantastic win. For those who don't know, I have seen DKC maybe once or twice here in San Diego when he was appearing at a wrestling school called the Level Up. But he did appear in a promotion known as Fist Combat until they just recently renamed themselves. But yes, that was a pretty good match. Now our next match is for the MLW World Tag Team titles. Yes, guys, Major League Wrestling did give sanction to allow, of course, the current tag champions Cozy Max, Kazuchika Nakamura, and Satoshi Kojima to defend their belts against CML's talent Rugido and Magnus. Those who don't know, Magnus is the cousin of Mystico. So it was a pretty good match. Now, of course, you would think that Rugido and Magnus would try definitely to pick up a win in order to obtain these belts. Well, that did not do any well because it was Kojima with the lariat onto Rugido, allowing for them himself and Okumura to retain the belts. Now, our next match, we were supposed to have Stephanie Vaquer in this match. However, due to the circumstances, she was replaced by Willow Nightingale, and she faces Viva Van and Yuvia. So, of course, three ways are very, 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 very predictable because you don't know what to expect. Viva Van, as you know, she has graduated from the New Japan Academy. Yuvia, she's from CML. Willow Nightingale, I have to say, she, as you know, she is trying to stay at top as possible after that whole hellacious thing that took place. But I have to say, it was a great choice to put her in this match. And I didn't know how this was going to end, but I think many people probably would have thought Willow Nightingale should be the winner, and she did when she applied the Dr. Bomb onto Viva Van, and just like that, it was completely over. Now, our next match, we have Hechi Seto taking on, of course, well, let me go back to the whole the last match. Yes, Willow Nightingale is, of course, the new CML World Women's Champion. However, I also saw this on the X account. It doesn't seem Stokely Hathaway is not too happy with the idea. He feels like, why, God? Why did you allow her to have this title? Why? And it's no surprise that Stokely Hathaway, who's trying to ruin her life, is going to try to do it again. But we'll see. Now, moving on. Our next match is a tag match. We have Hechi Seto and Virus. they take on TMDK's Bad Dude Tito and Zack Sabre Jr. Now, however, I am more curious about this match. As you know, both Eiji Seto and Zack Sabre Jr. are two of the best technical special wrestlers in the world. However, I feel Eiji Seto is trying to be that guy that tried to etch his name into the whole thing. Now, I have to say he was being a genius how to put a submission. I've seen Zack Sabre Jr., but I felt like Zack Sabre Jr., his number has now been called up. But it was Hechiseto who picked up the win when he applied a submission onto Bad Dude Tito, forcing him to tap out. But however, I have to ask ourselves, I think we should see a match between Hechiseto and Zack Sabre Jr. I just don't know when, but I think many of you would like to see that. Now, our next match is a singles match. We have El Barbaro Gavariano taking on Yota Tsuji. Now, those who don't know, Yota Tsuji spent some time in Mexico, more specifically in CML, learned a lot of few things. But however, you would think that this match was going to fall into Yota Tsuji. It did, because he gave him the Gene Blast, and just like that, it was completely over. Now, our next match is the New Japan Strong Openweight title. We have Ultimo Guerrero taking on the loudmouth, crazy nut job, Gabe Kidd. Now, of course, Gabe Kidd goes out thinking he's the shit and all that sort of thing. But however, he pushed the ref. Get Ultimo to the ref, then a low blow and then power driver. I mean, very despicable guy. And then, of course, Guerrero tried to shake his hands, but Gabe Kidd doesn't give a damn, because he's saying that he's the best, that people are stupid, and of course they are traitors to Antonio Inoki. I have to say he's the one who's delusional. And then he put out a promo saying that he's calling a shot at Capital Collision, calling out Leo Rush, saying that he's going to end his career once and for all. But we'll see what happens until then. And then once again, being disrespectful, he spit on the logo of the Fantastica Mania. But sooner or later, someone is going to have to bury him. You know, we'll see where that leads. Now, our main event, we have Rocky Romero and Volador Jr. taking on Doiki and Mystico. Now, it's no secret in recent time that Rocky Romero and Volador Jr. don't get along. But of course, there'll be moments, there'll be miscommunications, and that's what happened between both Rocky and Volador, because their opponents are none other than current IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion Doiki and of course Mystico. So that is a great combination. But however, it was of course, like I expected, some miscommunication between Volador and Rocky, but it was in fact Mystico with La Mística allowed him to pick up the win and walked away with it. And of course, in the post-match, Mystico said that he wants Doiki to put his IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship on the line, which of course it will happen. So we will see when that day happens, and I'll let you guys know. So I think that's pretty much it right now with this. Let's move on with AEW Collision. AEW Collision. It opened up with singles action. We have Konosuke Takeshita taking on Dynamite Kid Tommy Billington. Those who don't know, he is the nephew of the late Dynamite Kid. But it's great to see him. Last time we saw him, he took on Dax Harwood in a singles match, which was unbelievable. And I think many fans, I think many of you would agree that AEW should sign him. But however, of course, the snake in the grass, Don Callis, was watching. Now, I have to say the match was fantastic. I thought it was a pretty good one. Billington was amazing. But Konosuke Takeshita did everything as humanly possible to try to beat him. And that's exactly what he did when he applied his knee strike, which now is called the T trigger by Don Callis, allowing himself to win. However, in the post-match, Don Callis decided to extend an offer to Tommy Billington, asking him to join the Don Callis family. Well, things did not go his way, because he just told him to kiss my arse. Yes, that's what he said. And then of course, he was getting a beat down between both Takeshita and Kyle Fletcher, but luckily FTR, who are back, decided to give him some backup and all that. I think it's pretty fantastic. So we'll see what happens till we get there. Now, we have the Bang Bang Gang, consistent of Juice Robinson and the Guns, taking on a couple of guys named Michael Allen, Richard Clark, Shane Moore, and of course London Lightning, who we have seen a few times on both AEW and Ring of Honor. However, you probably can guess that this match was going to fall in favor to the Bang Bang Gang when they did the Intense of Yuma. Just like that, it was over. But however, they addressed that Jay White is out of action, all thanks to Christian Cage's interference. Of course, declaring that Juice Robinson is now a full-time of the trios belt. But however, Christopher Daniels made it clear that that's not how things work. So he laid down the law. Fans are not too pleased that they stripped them for the belts. However, Christian Cage tries to be awarded for these belts, but of course that's not what Christopher Daniels want. But he decided to do another. How about both the Patriarchy and the Bang Bang Gang face each other for this belt, and whoever walks out, they win the belt. But the Guns wanted them now to get payback for what the Patriarchy did to Jay White. But Christian Cage decided, nope, not gonna happen on my dime, especially on Calgary. But we'll see what happens. I think that may happen on Wednesday, I'm sure, but we'll see. Now, we did see the House of Black. Apparently, they put out another video, and they mentioned something like building the foundation in Wembley. I don't know what that meant, but it appears that they are up to something. I'm not sure if we will see Buddy Matthews, but who knows? So we'll see. Now, our next match is for the #1 contendership for the ROH World title. We have, of course, two former champions, Roderick Strong versus Dalton Castle. Whoever walks out will face Mark Briscoe at, of course, Death Before Dishonor. Match was pretty okay and all that, but unfortunately, this match did not go well for Dalton Castle when Roderick Strong did a jumping knee strike, and he is now our #1 contender. Now, our next interview, we did see, of course, Stokely Hatter and Chris. As you know, they're still harassing Willow Nightingale, saying that, all this whole positivity thing is a load of crap. But as I said before, now because now that that Willow is not the new CML Women's Champion, it's gonna drive them crazy. And of course, they're gonna question why they gave her that match, but not Chris. Well, that's gonna be the top of discussion. But we'll see what happens until then. Now, our next match, we have Nyla Rose versus Ava Lawless. I can tell you that this match ended very well with Nyla Rose applying the Beast Bomb, and just like that, it was completely over. Now, our next match, we have Top Flight Dante and Darius Martin taking on the Shane Taylor Promotions, Anthony Ogogo, and Lee Moriarty. The match was fantastic, but of course, Shane Taylor was going to get involved, but thank God that Andretti took care of him. But it was in fact, of course, a faceplant DDT by Darius to Lee Moriarty that allowed them to win. But however, they may have won this battle, but of course, the war between both Andretti and Top Flight against the Shane Taylor Promotions is far, far from over. Now, Lexi went to talk to Deonna Purrazzo because, as you know, recently we've been seeing her and Thunder Rosa getting in each other's faces. Well, Thunder Rosa thought they should be in a match together again, and they're going to have a lumberjack match in her home state of Texas. So that's something we probably will see down the road. Now, our next interview, Nyla Rose, as you know, decided to accept an open challenge made by our lovely double champion, Mercedes Moné, our TBS, and of course our New Japan Strong Women's Champion. So she accepted the challenge. So that could take place this coming Wednesday or so it's going to happen on Wednesday on Dynamite 250. Now, our next match, we have Sky Blue versus Harley Cameron. Of course, there's going to be some interesting moments on this one, but however, it was Sky Blue with the submission that won this match. However, during a video promo, she called her shot by calling out Hikaru Shida. Now, some of you may question, why would she do that? Simple. If she defeats Shida, she could be in the next conversation for a shot of the AEW Women's World title that currently is being held by Willow Nightingale. But we do know that Anna Jay will be the next opponent to challenge for that belt. But we'll see where that leads. Now, our main event, we have, of course, Orange Cassidy and Kyle O'Reilly taking on the Undisputed Kingdom, Matt Taven and Mike Bennett. Of course, Roderick Strong watching this from the sidelines. Of course, there was going to be some moments we're going to see and then when things were not going well for Undisputed Kingdom, they get involved. Roderick Strong gets involved, but out of nowhere, Trent Beretta showed up and attacked Orange Cassidy, and this allowed for, of course, Bennett and Taven to pick up the win with a pile driver, and just like that, it was over. But however, we did see Tomohiro Ishii attack Strong, but this is not far over. But later, Trent Beretta decided to say he's going to dismantle Kyle O'Reilly right in front of him because he feels that friends like him should understand that guys like Orange Cassidy is just using them. But however, when he attacked Kyle O'Reilly, Taven and Bennett decided to defend him. While he didn't care what they wanted, he got himself whacked in the back by a wrench, a huge wrench by Orange Cassidy. And you can tell by the look of Bennett and Taven, they're like, we're going to skedaddle. But however, of course, Kyle O'Reilly tried to talk sense into him, but they asked him in an exclusive interview that he's stooping up into the same level. But I don't think it matters anymore because it was Trent Beretta who's pushed it too far, and this is what the result. And after this match, it was foretold that he was going to be out of action for quite some time, but it's still unclear what's going to happen. So I think that's pretty much it for this particular update. I don't think we are done with everything else. Let's move on with some news updates. Okay, so welcome to our news update. So we're only going to focus on developments that are happening in the world of pro wrestling. Now, as you know, recently we've been covering about Stephanie Vaquer, of her leaving CML, now signing with WWE, and of course leaving her. Of course, people are talking about the way she left the business between New Japan and CML. Well, new information has risen about what's her current status as we speak. Now, as you know, when we hear that when wrestlers join WWE, they have to change their name. But as of right today, it was as of July 12th, WWE has no plans in changing her name. You probably would say, thank God. But yes. But as you know, she made her debut with WWE during a super show in Mexico City, and she just defeated none other than Isla Dawn. So good for her. Now, as you know, Brian Keith was the previous Deadlock Pro Wrestling national champion, so he had to vacate the belt. There was a three-way match that will determine the newly crowned champion. Adam Priest is now our new champion, so we'll see how things will go for them. Now, you guys know this guy too well. He is one of Tommy Billington's cousins, or nephews, however you want to call it. Davey Boy Smith Jr. and who's also the son of the British Bulldog Davey Boy Smith, or also a member of the Hart family. His mom is Diana Hart, Bret Hart's sister. He is Bret Hart and Owen Hart's nephew. Those who know this, recently Davey Boy Smith has been appearing in All Japan Pro Wrestling. Now, I know in the past we have seen him appear in New Japan, but New Japan will never see him as a talent that should be going on his own in singles competition. So he decided to go to All Japan, and he's signing a deal with them, which is good for him, and I'm very happy for him. Now, our next thing, as you know, we are now officially done with Catch the Wave tournament. The winner for this year is none other than the current and only member of Queen's Quest, Saya Kamitani. She won the entire tournament, and she will be facing the current Regina the Wave champion, and that is, of course, Yuki Miyazaki. Now, this match will take place in November, so we still got plenty of time, and I'm sure this will give plenty of time for Kamitani to prepare for herself for this match. So I think that's pretty much it, what we have for this particular, not for all our news updates and everything else. So let's just call it a day. Okay, I hope everybody enjoys this episode. Now, I haven't watched the latest Mighty Gold show. Hopefully I can get to see that as for the next episode. We have currently, as we speak, the latest Stardom show taking place in, of course, the hometown of Sayuri Inoue. I haven't seen the recent Prestige Wrestling show, the Choco Pro, of course Noah, and there's of course All Japan as well taking place. So there's a lot of things. So I may have to decide how I'm going to proceed next, moving forward for the next episode. I will be doing something new in case anybody's interested. It's called, DWZ Wrestling Facts, and this one I think you guys are going to enjoy. So we'll see what happens until then. But as of now, we'll end things here. So I must bid all of you adieu. So goodbye, and have a nice day. Bang.